Okay, I want to show you two of the most simple filled pastas that we can do, tortellini and ravioli. So I've got my nice sized piece. I've selected a round cutter, one that will give me a good yield here. So you see I want to stay as close as I can when I make my cuts. So I'll push down, and if I wanted to use wonton wrappers, I could do that, or I could cut this with a knife and just have them be triangular in shape as opposed to being round. So I'm going to go ahead and cut these, and then I'm going to remove my excess dough, set that off to the side. Ensure I don't have too much flour here. I don't have too much there. That looks good. We have a piece that's not quite right. I'm going to set it off to the side so that's an equal side when I fold it over. Because what I'm basically going to do is put my filling in the middle. I'm going to fold these over. Before I do that though, I want to ensure that they seal well. So I've got a small amount of water here. I'm going to brush. I only have to brush on one side because I'm folding it over. You don't want to do too many of these at once, because if you do a lot and put the water in here or your egg wash, what it does is it rehydrates and makes this very tacky, sticky. So when I put my filling in, I want to make sure I don't put too much. I'm going to take a teaspoon with my finger, kind of go like this, right in the center. We don't want to be around the edges. Whenever you do a filled pasta, two things will make it pop. Three things. Water that's boiling too hard, edges that are not sealed well because the filling went into the edge, and air inside of the pocket. So what we want to do is to seal it well without overfilling it. Just a little bit makes a difference. And make sure that we're cooking them at the right temperature, not too fast. Okay. So those are down. Clean my hands off. Okay, so now I've got these guys. What's helpful is if you have a small spatula, yeah, I have one here, or a knife maybe, just kind of lift it up like that. Gives you something to grab. And then I'll take this and I'll let gravity do its work. I'll pinch it at the top. I'll seal it around the bottom here, like this. I want to squeeze all the air out. So this could be a ravioli in and of itself, just like this. But if I take my finger and I wrap this around, making sure it's nice and well sealed, my finger, bring it all the way around, like this. And I've got my little guy here. So. You want to be careful not to put too much water in here, egg wash. It makes it not hold together real well. So that's what we're looking at here. So this is very methodical, if you will. What I would tell you is that the bigger you make them, the less you put on the plate, the less you have to make. The smaller that you make them, the more you have to put on the plate, and the more you have to make. So it's all just a matter of kind of how you want your work to be and how you want your product to look on the plate. So I could even just serve these like this. If that'd be a nice little ravioli like that. No, 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 oh. This is Oliver saying hi. Nobody. Let me wash my hands real quick. Sorry about that. I had clean hands, so I didn't do the full 20, but I think we're good. So I've got this guy. I want to make sure that I pinch this really good on this side, stretch it around and pinch that really good right there. That's what will hold that together. All the while checking my other seals as I'm doing this. does help to have a towel nearby so you can kind of wipe your fingers off on if you get anything on your fingers. This one's a little wet, so I'm going to set them down, let them dry a little bit before I come to the next one. So this filling that I have, it's literally what I had in the fridge. So I got a little bit of cream cheese, a little bit of cottage cheese, a little bit of Parmesan cheese, salt, pepper, garlic, and that's it. I think it's going to be really tasty. It tasted great. This is what I was getting at. They're kind of hard to pick up sometimes. This one feels a little bit wet. You got to be really careful, even in trying to be careful. I got them a little bit wet. And so when they are a little bit wet, like I said, just set them down, let them dry out a little bit here on its own before you go to try and manipulate it more. It has a tendency to be a little bit firmer when they're drier. They're easier to work with. So you can see here, where it's wet, it's sticking to my fingers here somewhat. So you can see we've got a few right here that we've made up. And this takes a little bit of time, but it's not too time consuming. But it does take a little bit. And I'll get my other pan that I had my other ones on. I'll bring them over. It's very important when you fill pasta that you don't stack them and that you keep them separate. And whenever we take our pasta and lay them on a pan, generally speaking, the best thing is either some of your flour that you worked with or some cornmeal. I like especially like cornmeal when I'm doing filled pastas because they don't absorb that flour as much and they set on top of this. If these are set together, they will stick. The filling that you have in there, the moisture permeates from inside to the outside and they become very, very fragile. So these would freeze very good like this, but also you could take these and hold them in the refrigerator and cook them the same day. You definitely want to make sure you're going to cook them very soon because they won't hold that long in that current state. So if I wanted to do some ravioli, very similar to what we just did, but just a little bit differently, take a piece. It's really nice to have a piece that's like this. I can have a piece like this, and I can take another piece, put my filling in spots here, take another piece and lay it across the top, like so, and then I can shape each one. I can cut it with a knife, I can cut it with a pastry wheel, I can cut it with a pizza cutter, anything that I want to do. I could take, what I can tell you is that when you go to make raviolis and you're going to use this method where you lay on top, you want to cut it after you've done that. If you cut circles or squares beforehand, they get misshapen very easily, so we don't want to do that. Another way that we can do this is to take this, to put our filling just on one side. We can roll this over like that and cut it. We can cut it with a round cutter like this. We can cut it with our knife, however we want. Another one that we can do as well is called agnolotti, where you take your filling. You can use it either a spoon like we did before and place little spots, or a pastry bag and just put little spots along here. And whenever we're filling, wherever those sealed edges are, we want to make sure that it's a little bit moist. So I'd put my filling here, I would fold over, and then one more time like that. Then I'd come through and I'd go like this between each one, and I'd fill it. With agnolotti, it has a tail, so we'd cut that like that, and it'd be like that. Very pretty, very easy to do. So your filling that you've got that you want to use, it can be cheese, it could be a puree, it could be a duxelle, mushroom duxelle, roasted butternut squash, roasted garlic, however it may be. So we're going to go ahead and do this guy like this. I could cut circles like this and fold them in half, or I could just go ahead and put my filling down, and I find that it's easier to, if I go ahead and brush this first, it's going to be easier for me to cut than if I were to brush it afterwards. I don't have to brush the whole thing. So a little bit of filling, and these are a little bit bigger, so they're going to get a little bit more filling. Okay, we're going to do 4 here. And then I'll take my pasta and I'll bring it over. Get him just up a little bit. And from here, I want to squeeze that air out. Squeeze that air out. Do you hear me? Squeeze that air out. Squeeze that air out. Okay, and then I can come back here and then cut these guys like that. Oh, I didn't get that one right. What you want to do is, I could have gone a little bit further apart, and so I needed to separate these out. My pasta was not long enough. So what I can do on these others is actually just go ahead and do these like this. So we've got our different size pastas. We can always take these guys and fold them around if we wanted to. Make tortellini-like pasta. And we've got our raviolis as well. So there you have it. You got a few different options here. You see, did you see that? It came apart. So I'm going to give that a little bit of moisture as I got to close that right there. And he'll seal it real nice like that. So hope you guys enjoyed.